But real quick, so my hometown of Ames, Mississippi was hit with an E43 tornado this Friday, past Friday night. And so I'm asking for the Baylor family, the Waco community, to send special prayers out to those people in that particular area. They're taking up donations at the old garment building in Amory, supplies or anything. So just continue to pray for these guys, my family and all those guys during this time.
Your family's still there?
Oh, yeah. What's wrong?
Okay.
Oh, yeah, we're good.
Okay.
We're good.
As far as the D-line, you got some new guys.
Yes, sir.
How are they kind of fitting in?
So spring ball, you get to really focus on the technique. You're not really too much worried about an opponent. And so you get extra time. We have the walkthrough days in between practice days. And you really get to see those guys grow probably the fastest within like a week or so, from knowing like absolutely nothing about the way that you teach it to seeing them grow. And so the young guys and the new guys within the position are really like thriving as it relates to starting to learn technique. Now they're still a long ways away, more plays and all the other stuff, but just the technique, like coming out of my hips, using our hands, they've made some strides.
Okay.
Coach, Dave talked about the energy of this group, and that's what gives them confidence. Is that something that you've noticed as well?
Yeah, so Coach Aranda does a really good job in their team meetings talking about playing with the energy and edge. Powell is the most energetic person you'll ever be around. And so there's an emphasis put on that. You don't want to just play technique for the sake of playing technique. You want to play it with energy. And we think that's where our edge is. And so you can see it screaming some days. And then the days where it's not, we have to hold each other accountable and make it get to the level where it's supposed to be for us to be good up front.
How's Jarrell doing?
So JB's doing well, coming from a junior college into this setting, playing at this level is different. There's an adjustment. The off season, he had to work to really get in shape, coming from where he was. The team around him, really pushes him, and you could kind of see him starting to come alive now. He's not so much into his shell as he used to be. He's starting, to get settled in, and you kind of see his personality come out in his play. So it's really good to see. Still a long ways to go, but we're definitely making strides towards it. He's doing good.
Jackie was someone who had a lot of success last year at linebacker. What was the conversation like when it came to moving him to D-line?
Jackie always wanted to play inside. When we recruited him to bring him here, that's where he was going to be originally. We were really deep interior-wise before, and so he could play with the jack because that's where his reps would be. So he's been fired up. He didn't blink an eye, and I'm really proud of him because it's almost like a fish in water. It's almost natural for him in that defensive, in that F position, the field position. Same thing that TJ plays. The 4-eye, playing the react attack, going to a 5 technique, which is a lot like the jack. So he's thriving. Really proud of Jackie.
How can we expect this defense to be different from Coach Roberts to now Coach Powell?
Yeah. With Powell, he's a bit more probably aggressive with us getting up the field a little bit more than what we were before. We did a lot of two-gap and stuff across the front, to stop the run, and we still have that stuff. But really owning and setting edges, strong edges. If I'm a 3 tech, I'm a 5 tech, you really get big in your gap, really owning your space. And I think that's the biggest thing right now that he's brought.
How about Cooper? What word do you have on that?
I'm so proud of Coop right now. So Coop, he plays in and nose for us at the moment. He's really probably more natural at the nose position. He's really strong. And you see him in the weight room when he power cleans. He can get 330 off the ground, get under it, and taking that strength that he has and applying it to the nose position, where his hips, hands, and knock back in the center and taking on blocks. So I feel like that spot is better for him right now. Now he's still, like I said, he's still playing both, and we're still filling it out as we go through spring. But he's doing a really good job at taking on the new technique. It's not easy to play nose, but he is doing a heck of a job.
Coach, you obviously lost a lot of experience. We saw some of them. But Gabe and TJ, having those guys back with the experience they have, how much does that help this group?
It helps a lot. And the thing with those two is, when we got here in 2020, they were, not starters. They've been through the whole process, from the back end, working their way through depth to now being guys. And so their journey, able to mentor the young guys in the room now that's on that similar journey that they've been on. Because it can be hard when you walk in a room and you got a guy who's really talented, like some of the guys in the front, and you're in the back and you're watching the film and your play's not like that right now. But you have to understand you have to go through it all. They had to go through it all to get to the point and continuously improving, And so just having them there for that part when they're not in the building, when guys might be down, to lift them up, hey, it's okay. You're going to show up tomorrow and you're going to get better. That changes everything, And I think that's the benefit of really having them in the room.
Guys like Apu and Jackson now gone, what do you see from this group that gives you confidence that you guys can still have plenty of success this year?
Kind of like what you just asked me with having, Gabe and TJ in the room. People who've been there, kind of done it before and have to take it to the next level now. So that leadership gives me confidence that the young guys that's coming up, the new faces, the Jackies, the JBs, that they're going to catch up to that same speed. You know what I mean? And so that part of the leadership gives me the confidence that we'll be okay.
Are there any other guys that we haven't talked about who might play some?
Devontae Tizino, he's going to have to step up coming up here. Trey Wilson, he's an early enrollee freshman playing the F position. Still learning a lot. Like, it's all very new to him, but pushing him and getting him better and more technically sound, he could show up too. So I think those two guys, for sure, there's ways of pushing them to possibly see the field outside the names that we've already talked about.
When you're preaching to guys about buying in and things like that, how helpful is it to point to Apu and Jackson and say, we're getting these guys to the next level?
Oh, you're talking like in recruiting and stuff like that, or just in our room?
Yeah, both recruiting or just the guys that are freshmen coming into the
Yeah,
building.
so they've all seen it. You know what I mean? You got teach tape of guys doing it, and then they're like, oh, that's what it looks like. Yeah, that's the technique we're talking. And they've done it at practice, and they've done it on Saturdays. So just to see that this is what it takes, like the images of it, it helps a lot. Because everybody know those names because they're really good players, and that's why they had their pro day the way that they had it yesterday, which is huge. And so it gives them confidence. It's the same room, the same type of drills they've had to do that they're doing now, and hopefully it'll get them in that position one day.
Are you playing guys at different spots right now, just kind of get them more versatile?
Again, like that's spring, and so you have the opportunity to put guys in different positions. As the season goes, things happen, and you have to move people around, and so you can use these bank reps now to have them in case they need to move a position, And so it's cool to see, like Coop was a great example. Like, he's just first time ever playing some nose for us, and he's going through it like he's done it 100 times before, and so that's another weapon that we have on the defense.
Obviously, the season's a long ways away, but are you expecting maybe more 4-man fronts or 3-man? Maybe a little bit of both?
As we continue to go through spring, we'll find out what we're really good at. Powell is doing a fantastic job of mixing it all up every day, whether it's a blitz period or a team period, the different fronts, the 3-down, the 4-down fronts, and we're going to find out what we're good at. And I think, again, this is what you do in the spring when they give you these 15 practices to get that done.